Hey, awesome listeners. Before we dive into today's episode, I've got a small request. If you're enjoying the podcast, could you take just a moment to go and rate and review it on whatever podcast platform you're using? It costs nothing, it takes a brief moment, but it really means the world to us. Your feedback helps other people discover the show, so if you can hit that review button, share your thoughts. It's quick, it's free, but it really does make a huge difference to what we're doing. Now let's jump into today's episode. You're listening to the Forest School Podcast. Delicious waffle chat about education, nature connection, child development, community building, and lots more. Hosted by Lewis Ames and Wem Sutherland. Secret. It's not Secret Student. Why am I calling it Secret Student? I want to call it Secret Student because of, do you know the cartoon show Secret Squirrel? Shh, no. Secret Squirrel. No? Oh, it's like a weird Hanna-Barbera one. It was a bit Inspector Gadget, but he was a squirrel. Everything came out of his hat or his cloak. So I've got one. I've got a surprise student for you. But I'm aware that this is the downside of surprise student, is one of us will probably have more knowledge on the person than the other, depending on which properties they're from.
Yes.
Because the person that I want to offer you as a surprise student is Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
So I think I may have
also
slightly
happens to be your special interest. So
I'm sat in front of a Lego version of Rivendell. My children are named after Tolkien characters. I may have slightly more knowledge in this area, but I think
okay. So
have you seen?
You just
You've
have to
seen
not
the films,
shoot me
right?
down. Then I have seen the films, but a long time ago.
Do you know what? Let's take this way. You be a practitioner, and I'll be the parent in the conversation that's giving you like information. So you can go like, how do you think they would feel about this? And I'll go, oh, my little golly. Well, he's probably
Okay. And just don't shoot me down when I say something.
I'm not going to shoot you down.
No,
I'm a supportive individual.
Gollum was actually born.
If you go back through the Silmarillion, I think you'll find that he's quite a species of the.
And his previous forest school leader tried that already in book 1, and it flopped. So what are you talking about? Oh goodness. And hang on, can I tell you check? So Gollum used to be a normal hobbit. Smeagol. Are we going into that?
Yeah.
Are we going to go into that or not?
So no, I think we should. That's important history and trauma for this person. So
yes, that's what I was going to say. It's a history of trauma, isn't it?
This is, as it grew up in a small rural village. This person grew up in a small rural village, encountered a piece of jewelry that made them kill their best friend and go off into hiding. They were excluded from their community and had to go off and live in isolation, away from everybody else, which is where they lived in the Goblin Caves and developed all this night vision stuff. And then the only thing they had from that time, this sort of trinket, this transitional item, this thing that gave them self-worth, was misplaced and picked up by somebody else who then took it away. And they've kind of been quite keen to get it back.
Right, okay. I've got some ideas. Can I stop you there? Because I can't take any more info in. I'll ask you some more questions in a minute.
Sure.
So just to check, they no longer have the precious.
Yeah, at this point in time, let's say we're like mid-book, so they don't have the ring.
Okay, and they've come to forest school with members of the community that they were part of. Are they now in a group?
No.
Or are we one-to-one? Like, what's
I think this might be
here?
one. I think this is probably best one-to-one. Well, because of the way that their neurodiversity works, it is kind of 1-2 because there's kind of 2 personalities going on inside this person.
As in Smeagol is still sometimes.
Yeah. So you're 1-to-1ing physically, but 1-2ing.
Okay. Wow. I mean, this is like, and this is so easy, isn't it? That this really could be one of your observed participants in your Introduction to Forest School 6 sessions on your training, because it's just so straightforward. Okay, so Smeagol is sometimes there, but Gollum can pop out at any minute, or vice versa.
Red mist maybe comes down sometimes, and they behave in a way that is, people might say, that's not the real them. That's not who I know them to be, when they're dysregulated and their need for this particular regulating item isn't accessible. They behave in non-pro-social behaviors come out.
Yeah. So I would ask the parents whether there have been any other, or parents or previous
sure, I'll take that role.
Teachers, practitioners. Have there been any other regulating behaviours since the precious item has disappeared? Have you noticed anything else that does help Gollum/Smeagol to regulate when they are feeling dysregulated or particularly aroused?
So positive praise and reassurance seems to work very, very well. That seems to, their self-esteem seems to be quite, fleeting. And so reassurance, positive praise, but also acts of service. If they can show someone the route to a mountain, they're very happy. If they can catch fish in the stream for people, that seems to bring them a lot of joy. So it's a combination, those acts of service, but then also the positive reinforcement that comes.
Well, we can certainly work out a lot of those things in the woods, that we can do a lot of stuff for the woods. We can do a lot of woodland, a lot of really easily achievable woodland management tasks together, which might also bring in some kind of heavy work that might help them to process some of those difficult feelings that they've experienced. Obviously, depending on their physicality, is there anything that he finds challenging in terms of physicality?
Yes, so I was going to mention physicality because sort of similar to some students you might have had that are like toe walkers. He's very much an all fours kind of walker. Lots of moving around, great grip strength, can hang off loads of stuff, really happy in water, loves water play and all those kind of things. But very much more comfortable on four limbs where they are and swimming around, sort of swimming and swinging around to different places than they are upright, long distance. Carrying things is not their forte.
Okay, gotcha. So climbing trees, for example, would be something that they would find easy?
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So things like where we might be building things that involve climbing, not to obviously too great a height. We don't want to create a really scary risk for them, but risk assessed tree climbing, perhaps helping to build things which involve a little bit of low-level climbing and perhaps tying things up onto branches and maybe making obstacle courses for other people. So
traps would be, I think traps would be a big winner. Making traps and things.
Because it sounds like they're perhaps not ready to be, as you say, working kind of 2 to 1. They're not quite ready to be in community yet. But obviously, if they are agreeable to the idea of that, then further down the line, we might want to be looking at sort of increasing the social nature of forest school for them. So if they're already kind of thinking of the idea of other people are going to use the space when you're not here, what can we kind of make for them, or how can we help them, or how can we be of service to these people, even though we might not be quite ready to socialize with them face to face, that we are thinking in a kind of pro-social way, using skills that we have and things that we enjoy doing. That might be a good.
That would be great. I think that would definitely be the way to mediate, because there's a lot of like rejection sensitivity that might be going on. Any idea that they're not worthy or they're not good enough, or that, that their regulating item has left them on purpose, is very distressing to them. So I think anything that can be in that sort of contained environment of like being supported when they learn that other people have used their things, because they will be, like you say, they will be quite precious to them about the items that they've created. Definitely.
Do you think it's likely that they will find any other particular items special or regulating for them, or do you think it's that one thing and it's gone and that's it?
I think over time they may learn to kind of replace that regulating item with that sense of like relationship building again, because they do have maybe one good friend that they see. They're quite protective over that friend. In terms of that regulating item, I don't think they would find another regulating item, but perhaps this friendship could eventually be something that kind of they learn to use in a similar way to level their mood.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like as well, like building some familiarity into our routine, that we regularly go to the same place or do the same thing, to build in some things that they know are kind of, they're able to expect those things and they're going to happen each time, that it won't be forced upon them. So it definitely sounds like a very low demand approach is needed, but with some structure, so they know what's coming next and to get into a bit of a routine.
And sure. I think it would be great if there was someone whoever they're working with, I think would need to have like quite a low ego, because they need to win quite a lot, particularly fond of things like word games, riddles, things like that, where they can establish some sort of hierarchy that they have beaten the person that they're challenging. That's quite important to them. So I think having a leader that can play that role from time to time, and yes, that was a very tricky one, or I didn't even get that one. They've had some traumatic experiences with that in the past.
Right. Yeah. So
okay, we have to stop. It's like getting far too deep into this role.
Same. I mean, I'm ready. I'm really looking forward to meeting them. I'm really looking forward to meeting them. I just want to meet them and see. Yeah, I made that very real in my own imagination there. I was like full on. I changed our site in the imagination world to meet
Can I
their
ask
needs.
what you would do though? Because now I don't know. We don't know what the cause of this is. I'm back in roll. I've got more. They've we don't know whether it's sensory or whether it's to do with demand, but they do just like to wear a small piece of fabric around their genitals and arse. So I don't know whether you have a box of spares or what you do. I mean, presumably you wouldn't want to be lone working with this person. Because of safeguarding concerns. But also anything you could do around, getting them to wear any clothes would be great.
Okay. Oh, wow.
That was fun, though.
Yeah, that was really fun. Okay, I'm going to think of somebody for next time.
Amazing. This has been really fun. I've enjoyed all three of those. And the other thing that I forgot to say that we may well also do for our Patreon subscribers is, when it's relevant, to do little live ceremonies in the woods around the Celtic festivals, around Imbolc and around Samhain and all these things, to just kind of record what we're up to in the woods and maybe share that communally. So, lovely listeners, if you've enjoyed these and you think, I want to hear more of those, we're going to keep doing the regular podcast, and things like this will be moving onto our Patreon feed, where we'll do one of these with every episode. Do get your questions in on theforestschoolpodcast.com for the pedagogy surgery. And unless there's... you can also send us, if you've got characters that you think we need to design sessions for, or you've got teaching clips that you think they need to have a look at that, please do send them to us as well. But unless there's anything else, I think I'm ready to say bye. Bye.
Bye.
And now, at the end of the podcast, we want to say a massive thank you to the people that are supporting us on Patreon. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/The Forest School Podcast. But we want to say a massive thank you to Karen, to Catherine, Gareth, Rebecca, Rosie, Julie, Rachel, Candice, Claire, Heidi, Louise, Michael, and Anna. Thank you so much, guys. And we'll see you all next time. This is an episode of Surprise Student, which is an episode that we put out on our Patreon feed for subscribers. If you want to hear this episode regularly and you want to hear all the different Surprise Students that we have, you can go to patreon.com/The Forest School Podcast and sign up for as little as £2 a month, which is less than a Tesco meal deal every month. So head to patreon.com/The Forest School Podcast and get all these regular bonus episodes in your feed.